What if I told you that a single mistake, barely the size of a pinhead, could cost you nearly $1 million? Right now, buried in old coffee cans, forgotten drawers, or tucked into Grandpa's dusty coin jar, sits the 1940 copper wheat penny with an S mint mark. And here's the terrifying truth: most people throw it away without ever knowing its secret. This isn't just another old penny. This coin hides one of the most lucrative and misunderstood mint errors in US history. And if you don't know exactly what to look for, if you miss just one small crack, one tiny doubling, or a faint misalignment, you could walk right past $950,000 and never know it. Let's start with the basics. The 1940 S penny was minted in San Francisco, part of the iconic wheat cent series that ran from 1909 to 1958. It's copper, it's classic, and over 112 million were struck. But here's the thing: not all 1940 S pennies are created equal. There are secret variants, ones with hidden die errors, ones struck with worn-out equipment, and even some so rare, experts argue over how many actually exist. The first sign: a tiny double die obverse. Look closely at the "In God We Trust" lettering. Is the W slightly shadowed? Do the letters look split or thick? That's your first clue. One penny with clear doubling on the motto and date sold for $28,000, and that was in average condition. But here's where it gets even more bizarre. Some 1940 S pennies have what collectors call a ghost S, a mint mark so faint, it looks like it was never fully struck. It's often caused by a filled die or clogged mint equipment. People toss these coins thinking they're damaged, but guess what? A Ghost S variety in pristine condition recently went for $14,500 at auction. Still watching? Good. Because we're just getting started. Another hidden jackpot is the die crack error, a line that runs through Lincoln's face or from the rim across the wheat stalks on the back. These cracks often look like scratches or damage, so people ignore them. But collectors don't. One with a strong die crack across the reverse recently fetched $7,800 on eBay. And some believe certain reverse cracks may actually point to an entirely misaligned die, making it even rarer. Now, take a deep breath, because this next one is what I call a life changer. There are less than a dozen known off-center 1940 S wheat pennies with clear dates and mint marks. Imagine a coin where Lincoln's face is pushed off the edge, and the coin is shaped more like a crescent moon. These happen when the penny isn't seated properly in the press. One such 1940 S off-center coin, just 20% misaligned, sold for $19,200 in a private sale. But here's the kicker: many of these errors don't even look that dramatic. Some are just 5% off, and they still command four-figure prices. Still think it's just a penny. There's a rumor among old collectors, and this one sends chills down the spine, that a micro-overdate exists. That's when a faint trace of a different number, like a 1939 hiding beneath the 1940, can be seen under magnification. These are usually caused when mint workers repunched old dies to save time. One rumored overdate 1940 S penny was quietly sold in a coin show for nearly $31,000, but no photos were ever released. The buyer vanished, and collectors still debate if it was real, or a hoax. So, what should you be doing right now? First, grab every 1940 penny you can find. Flip it over. Does it have an S under the date? If yes, look at that S. Is it weak? Misaligned? Tilted? Then, check Lincoln's face. Any strange lines? Any doubling in the motto or numbers? Pull out a magnifying glass. Zoom in. Take your time, because here's the truth no one tells you: everyday Americans are throwing away fortunes in the form of old coins. Some are cashing in. Others are missing out, all because they never took the time to learn the signs. Just last year, an elderly man in Oregon traded a cigar box full of wheat pennies to a dealer for $75. The dealer? He sold one of those pennies, the 1940 S with a strong double die, for $62,000. One coin. One moment. A lifetime of regret. Don't let that be you. Your junk drawer could be holding your emergency fund. Your childhood piggy bank might hold your early retirement. But only if you look, really look, right now, someone else is out there checking their pennies. They're using a flashlight, a magnifier, maybe even just their phone camera. They'll be the ones who find it. They'll be the ones who get the check, and you're either about to join them, or let $1 million mistake slip through your fingers. The choice is yours. Imagine this: you've got a handful of old pennies in a jar, untouched for decades. One of them is from 1945. It looks ordinary, brown, worn, and dull. But hidden in that copper coin could be a microscopic error, one that recently sold for $932,000. The worst part? Most people spend it without ever knowing. That's why this video might be the most valuable 10 minutes of your life, because today, we're unlocking the secrets of the 1945 copper wheat penny with no mint mark, and the devastating mistake that's robbing collectors blind. If you're not checking this coin the right way, you might already be throwing away a fortune. And the difference? It's often smaller than the width of a human hair. See, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion wheat pennies in 1945. No mint mark. Just Lincoln's solemn profile and that humble little date. But in that sea of copper, a few coins came out wrong, and that's where the treasure lies. Let's start with a shocking truth: not all 1945 pennies are created equal. One in particular had a double die obverse, where the minting process struck Lincoln's face and the date twice, slightly misaligned. The result? You'll see a subtle but clear doubling on the 9, the 4, or even the word liberty. And collectors are going wild for these. One graded MS-67 with a clean double date sold for $31,250, all because someone knew what to look for. But wait, here's where most people make the costly mistake. They think errors are always obvious. Big cracks, missing details, or wildly off-center designs. But the deadliest errors? They hide in plain sight. Take the die cracks. These hairline fractures form when the stamping die wears out. A 1945 penny with a die crack running from Lincoln's coat down through the rim looks like a simple scratch. But to a trained eye, that's a minting flaw, not post-mint damage. One of these cracked die specimens fetched over $9,000, all because it matched a known die variety. Now imagine this: someone is digging through their grandpa's coin stash. They find a 1945 penny with no mint mark. Nothing fancy, just a weird bump near the 5 in the date. They almost toss it. But after a second glance, they realize that bump is a die chip, a chunk of metal that broke off during minting. That tiny raised blob just turned a 5-cent coin into a $4,800 payday. Still not convinced? Let's go deeper. There's a theory that steel planchets from 1943, the famous World War II silver-looking pennies, accidentally got mixed in with 1945 copper production. While extremely rare, a few 1945 pennies struck on leftover steel planchets have surfaced. Magnetic, silvery, and out of place. If one ends up in your hand, it could mean 6 figures. One known specimen sold at auction for over $180,000. Rehooked yet? Because here's a chilling thought: thousands of Americans own this coin and don't realize its potential. The errors are real, the prices are rising, and collectors are getting smarter. But time is running out. Even tiny repunched mint marks, though not common in Philly coins, have similar lookalikes in date digits. A repunched 5 or 4 in the date might seem like a dent, but under magnification, if you see a shadowy second outline, you're looking at a die variety. That shadow just might be worth $3,100. But how do you actually spot these? Here's what you need: a jeweler's loupe, preferably 10x magnification. Focus on Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. If anything looks doubled, chipped, raised, or distorted, don't ignore it. Then, check the reverse. Look for die breaks between the wheat stalks. Sometimes they connect, forming what's called a cud or retained cud. These errors can skyrocket a penny's value to $6,000 or more, especially in mint condition. Now ask yourself, how many 1945 no mint mark pennies have passed through your hands? Your family's change jar. That old penny board your uncle gave you. Coins like this are still out there, sitting in drawers, piggy banks, even stuck under couch cushions. But every day, more of them disappear into the economy, spent unknowingly, lost forever. Don't let yours be one of them. This is your moment. That one penny you overlooked last week. It might just be the ticket to your next car, your mortgage, or your retirement dream. But if you don't check, if you don't learn, you'll never know. So go now. Dig through your coins. Look closely. Because the difference between an ordinary penny and a $932,000 error coin could be sitting right there in your pocket, just waiting to change your life.